Hello and welcome to Techtalk. My name is Freeman Yorke. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost technology program. Techtalk is brought to you by Techies, but in fact, we are an organization that empowers tech professionals and enthusiasts to explore and harness the endless opportunities technology offers. And we focus on three cores: career development, social impact, and impact initiative. This conversation is currently live on Google Meet, and subsequently we'll be premiering it on the Techies for Impact YouTube channel. Today, I'm ready to wrap up my 2025 with this conversation, and we want to dive into the future where food, culture, and technology collide to create massive opportunities. And I have two phenomenal people here with me by name, Mr. Derrick Crentsil and Bibiana, popularly known as Chef Lifestyle. Mr. Derrick is a strategist who founded the iconic Maggi Waakye Summit, and Bibiana is a brilliant food content creator and entrepreneur. So, on that note, welcome to Tech Talk. The topic for tonight is promoting food and culture leveraging technology. So, we'll start off with just one icebreaker. I have my pen and my notebook here ready to learn from these two amazing minds and the community as well. So the first icebreaker, just let us know in the chat or you can unmute, is what is that one food that's an influencer? And I'm looking at here, has influenced you or has social media influenced you to try? So anyone can take up that question. I repeat it again. Was that one food that you were influenced by social media or an influencer to try? Yes, you can go ahead. I see that your hand is raised. Take it for effect.
Yeah, hello everyone. So Jeremiah here. Honestly, it's boba. I saw it so much. I ended up trying it for myself.
Awesome. In my circle, we've been having some conversations why we haven't tried boba and how come it's influencing the Ghanaian space. So, I mean, we have Subul and Asana, but boba, the people behind it are doing really, really well. Anybody else has anything to share?
Um,
I'll,
my
yeah.
hand was up, but I think you didn't see it. Can you hear me, please? Can I be heard? Okay, sure. So mine is abili walls. I know how to do abili walls, but I didn't know people add cornstarch and all those things to abili walls. So today I give it a try. Actually, so it's an influence.
Awesome. So today you try something. Awesome. That's good to know. Just on a lighter note, I saw Bibiana trying sheep's head on her social. Like I saw that, and I'm like, that was wild, some wild stuff. And as she explained, here in Ghana, we chop up the sheep's head and put it in soup. But on the plates, the face of the sheep was there, whether it was happy or sad. It was just being devoured. So that's interesting. All right, thank you very much for that amazing icebreaker. So we'll get right into it with the first question, and it's introductory one, and the focus is on strategic genesis. So that goes to you, Derrick, and I'll be dropping the questions in the chat since they are quite intense. So the question is: the Maggi Waakye Summit successfully married a powerful cultural staple with a major corporate brand. Tell us about the strategic genesis of this event. Specifically, what was the non-obvious market data that convinced Maggi to greenlight the summit, and what technological KPI did you use in the early days to prove that this cultural event could deliver measurable business value?
It's a very hefty question.
It is.
Yeah, the easiest question.
Hi to everyone. Hi, Bibiana. I hope you're good. So I think I'll just share how I started the event and then perhaps go into how it ended up evolving into becoming the Maggi Waakye Summit. I'm pretty sure it's obvious that I love Waakye. For me to decide to put together an entire celebration, and so that's where it kind of started from. I have a friend who um, was always sharing Waakye reviews with me in our WhatsApp. So when she goes to try a particular joint, then she sends it to me, hey, you should try this joint, and I'll do the same thing. And after a while, I thought to myself, why don't we just start putting these reviews online and see, like, share our reviews with everyone else? And so we decided to create a blog called Waakye Radar. And so we started sharing different joints, and over time the audience size grew. I think we had about 20,000 followers on Facebook at the time, and I figured, why are we just, it was a pretty engaging page because people were looking forward to the reviews and the recommendations, and then they go and try it out and also put their reviews on there. And so the next stage for me was, why not create an in-person experience? Now the reason why I ventured towards that was because I'm of the opinion that we have a very special dish in Waakye, and I think it's something that we ought to be proud of as Ghanaians. And I think it has the potential to penetrate the globe and penetrate cultures and restaurants everywhere. For the longest time, we've been struggling with Nigerians over jollof, but there's something more superior. And I think that just as we have dishes from different parts of the world that have become mainstream in the country, like someone mentioned boba tea, you have sushi. People, you go to restaurants and you have pizza, burgers, pasta, and these are dishes from other people's countries. And I think Waakye is something that we have that we can offer to the world. And for us to have that kind of global impact, I think it's important that we start our own buzz, get excited about it, and then the world catches on, just like it happened with Afrobeats. So this festival has just been that vehicle for me to create a buzz around this dish and get people excited about it, and people also curious about the dish. So I set out to start it in 2018, had our first edition, and had a humble about 500 people attending, which was quite good. And I remember the time we had MTN Mobile Money partnering with us, and so it was pretty exciting to see something that you just envisioned at least get kick-started. And then our second edition, we ended up having Maggi reach out to us because they saw the ads online, and they thought it was an interesting concept, and they wanted to sort of try it out. And so they came on board for the second edition, and interestingly enough, our attendance for the second edition kind of tripled. And so it showed a lot of promise at that time, if you're thinking about it that way, from about 500 people attending to the next time having 1,500 people coming through. It just showed a lot of promise, and for Maggi as a brand, they really felt like this was the kind of space that they wanted to play in and have their brand associated with, especially with a dish as indigenous as Waakye. They would want to also play in that space. And I think one of the insights that I also found was that Ghanaians loved Waakye. We just didn't really know how much we did, and through the festival, you see the people who love it so much coming out, and you see other people develop a love for it, and not even just a love, but a sense of pride for it. And for me, it's been beautiful seeing people get very passionate about the dish, get very passionate about the event, and attend, and seeing the brand Maggi's investment into the event grow over the years. And sorry, for our last edition in 2023, Maggi had a conversation with us based on the growth of the event and said, hey, we want to really own the naming rights to this event. And so we had a conversation about it, and they increased their investment into it. And that's how we kickstarted the Maggi Waakye Summit. And our upcoming edition is just one that we also as a team can't wait for, because I know we skipped last year, but this time we're hoping to make it even more exciting than before, and hopefully take us even closer to our goal of making this a global impact. And we have had conversations with some brands who have the potential to help us take this even global. So it's for me, it's been a journey of passion and consistency and growth, and we've learned so many things along the way, not just about event organizing, but as Ghanaians and our culture. So yes, that's how we ended up at the Maggi Waakye Summit.
Awesome. That's brilliant. I mean, starting from the Waakye Radio and progressing, working with MTN, and currently having Maggi reach out, and then now they wanting to own the brand. That's some great stuff that you've shared. Thank you so much. I have written 5 points down, and I'll be sharing them as the conversation progresses. So we'll continue the conversation of the introductory questions to Bibiana, and your question is: you've navigated the chaotic digital landscape to become a successful content creator. If you could walk us through the strategic framework of your content journey, when you first started, what's one strategic decision about your niche, platform choice, and monetization model? What was the hardest to make, and what did you have to unlearn about the creator economy to turn your passion into a sustainable, profitable business?
Okay, this is like 10 in one question, but yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the question, and good evening, everyone. I just came back from exploring, so I just had to come back and quickly put myself together for the meeting. I'm very excited to be here, and this is a topic that I really love to talk about. So I think I will just start from a little from the beginning. I don't want to talk too much, but I have to build it up. So with food blogging, I just started it it's for fun, right? I was just having fun. I had a phone. I had ingredients at home because my mom is a cook. She's a caterer. She's been cooking for over 30 years. So I already had that foundation. So when I started, that is when I realized that, oh, wow, there's a huge gap in the market. Like, there are Nigerians doing food blogging, promoting their foods and all that, but the Ghanaian space, I think at that time, the person that was doing short form content, food content, was Telande World. And then I don't remember the others, but she was very prominent at that time. And the others were all like Ghanaians living in the diaspora, like Kwanchiwa's Kitchen, Sweet Ajeli, and all that. And they were doing long form content. And for me, I cannot sit through a long form content because my attention span is like this. So I was like, well, how can I break these recipes down and make it very, very simple for people to assimilate it without, spending too much time, but also very easy for them to be able to make it, even though they are watching like a 30 seconds or a 1 minute video. So that is how it started. And then, as I said, at that time, I was in uni, I was about to graduate. So I was like, you know what, after COVID, the lockdown, I'll just forget about this. But the more I did it, the more I realized that, wow, I actually really like this so much. So I said, let me see where this goes. Let me take this all the way and see where it goes. And I think with regards to the niche question you asked, one of the things that has really been beneficial to me is not just creating recipes or not just cooking, but then really trying to do a deep dive, understand what the ingredients are, the recipes are, trying to educate people on those things. And it has been amazing because I also get to learn a lot. When I started food blogging, I didn't know a lot of things. I didn't even know how to use a lot of spices. I had to learn a lot of things on the job. And the more I learn, the more I share with my audience. So I realized everybody comes and says, well, this is how we make waakye. This is how we make jollof. This is how we make mutu. But why do we use short grain rice for mutu? Why is it that waakye we have plain rice, we have the local rice? What are the differences? why? Where is it coming from? If you're making fufu, why is it that some people call it fufu, some people call it fufu? All of that. So I wanted to really understand the deeper questions. And I think that is one of the content that my audience really love, because they also get to know that, oh, okay, this is why both floats is like this. This is why this is like that. So that is one thing. Another thing too is I'm very education focused. So I really brought that to my content. And whenever I'm speaking to any content creator, I'm always like, find that one thing that will set you apart. Because I am talking to you here today because you saw my content and you realized that, oh, this is somebody that can talk, somebody that can teach. And that is something I've been very, very intentional about. And so from the get-go, my content was not just for, entertainment, or not just for come and learn how to cook and go, but there was an education attached to it. You always learn something. Even if you don't go and recreate the recipe, you're going to learn something about the recipe, or maybe I'll talk about something else. And even with my brand, I'm always teaching, I'm always sharing something, I'm always talking about something, because I always want people to encounter me and leave with something new they didn't know about. So I think that is also one thing that has really set me apart when it comes to the content bit, because it's easy for everybody to just create recipes. If you put 10 food content creators there, why would you choose content creator A over B? That is how you differentiate, or you differentiate yourself from other people. In regards to the monetization bit of things, I think one of the things that I also did very well was I did not only depend on brand deals. And that is something that if you just depend on brand deals, you might not last in the industry, because brand deals is a whole world on its own. There are so many moving parts. There are peak seasons, there are off seasons. And so from the get-go, I realized that, okay, I need to create a monetization strategy that is balanced. Something from here, something from here, something from there. So I started teaching very early. I think when I started food blogging, the next year, I started teaching other people how to create content themselves, how to create food content themselves. So I did the food blogging masterclass, I did the food blogger pro, I did food photography classes, because as I said, education is the backbone of my brand. And so I was like, okay, if I'm learning these things, I want to teach other people, because I also realized there wasn't a lot of Ghanaians in the space. So I was like, instead of them also figuring it out like me, why don't I just give them the blueprints and then they pay me? So that was one of the things that I really did that also has made me more of an educator in the space and not just a food blogger. And let me look at the other one, because the question is so long, I've forgotten some of it. Okay, which was, I think I've spoken about the monetization. So which one was the hardest to make? I would say for me, right, I'm very introverted, and so I had a lot of ideas about physical events, but I always shied away from it because I was like, I don't want to put myself on the spot like that. So those ones, I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But this year I had one physical event. It wasn't a paid event, it was a charity event. But I think when I did that, it was more like exposure therapy. So after that, I was like, oh, okay, if I've been able to do this, it means that the other ones that I want to do, I can do it. So I would say that one was the hardest based on my own personality. And what did you have to unlearn about the creator economy to turn your passion into a sustainable, profitable business? So, like I said, not depending on only brand deals. So brand deals are amazing. I'm not saying that we shouldn't depend on them, because sometimes there's a brand will reach out to you, you make some quick money and all of that. But brand deals also comes with a lot. Sometimes it can come at the cost of your authenticity. If you are not careful, if that's the only thing, like if brands don't pay you, won't eat, you would say things you're not supposed to say, you would do things you're not supposed to do. And that is not the best way. Like I always say that my authenticity is not for sale. Like that is the first thing I'll protect, because once I lose my trust with my followers, I don't have anything else. So one thing I had to really unlearn is, okay, brand deals are great, but how can I do other things to sustain myself and then kind of create a balanced monetization strategy. So every year I sit down and I create a monetization strategy for the year. So for 2026, I have created my monetization strategy. Okay, this is how much I want to make in the year. This is how much I want to make from brand deals. This is how much I want to make from physical events. I'm working on a project. This is how much I want to be able to make from that kind of project and all of that. So once you have that, you also have a goal, you have a vision. And so you don't just take anything that's coming. Like, okay, this is the kind of brand I'm trying to build in 2026. If brand A is coming, does this brand align with the kind of person or the kind of brand I want to be in 2026? And so when you plan ahead and you create those monetization streams, and of course it's gonna come at a cost. You have to put in a lot of work, you have to put in a lot of money. Making money requires a lot of money. So you have to psych yourself up that, okay, I want to do this and this is the plan or the way to go about it. So I would say personally, for the whole question that you've asked, one of the things I have done to be able to build a sustainable business is treating content creation like a business. It is not a hobby. It is not me, Biashe. Sorry for those who can't speak Chi. It's a business. And so everything I do, there are systems, there are structures, there are profits and losses. I create budgets. I keep track of everything because I'm running a business. So yeah.
Awesome. I have 8 points written down. That's some deep insights over there. And what really resonates with me is understanding the ingredients and why those ingredients are being used. It's safe to say, unfortunately, I've been in some spaces where you just throw in what you have to try and make some good food. And at the end of the day, if you have enough Maggi, it can taste good. But I appreciate that when you understand the ingredients, you're able to cook better. You inculcate education, and if you want to make money, you have to have a lot of money. Thank you very much for that, Bibiana. So we'll move on to the third question, and this is for both of you. And it reads: the risk of cultural erosion is high. How does the direct visibility and data provided by tech platforms, that's your social media platforms that you actively use, and the delivery app serve as a protective force against the dominance of global fast foods and trends? So for me, I'll just do hashtag boba over there because I know boba is not from our culture. So over to you, Derrick.
I think it's an interesting one, and for me personally, I on my personal social media, some time back, I had this thing that I kept doing, and it was sort of like a social experiment for me. There are times when I would post very inviting pictures of like local dishes that I'm going to eat, right? So I go out, I go and buy maybe waakye, and I'll take like a video in a way that is very like enticing, or gobe, right? And I realized that there were so many reactions, especially from my followers that don't live in Ghana, and it kind of made them like just have instant cravings. So for me, even from my micro point of view, you see how impactful that is. There were times when I would post, I remember posting, there's this joint in Kandak called Komi Fest, and you would post like content from there, and everybody's asking you, where is this joint? Where is that joint? I want to go and try it out. And so you see how social media has a strong impact on people's appetite, right? And if you think of how certain trends have started, like now there's boba tea and there's matcha, it's the same. It's the same thing, you know. I feel like if we will be as proud of our own things to share them and not necessarily consider them to be, for lack of a better word, inferior, I think we have the potential to impact several people. Several people would want to try our food. Several people who aren't Ghanaians would want to try our food because it's the same thing. It's really just somebody creating, like you know, I don't know whether you guys have seen this trend on TikTok of a Ghanaian guy in New York who has made a whole fad out of quarter zip sweaters, and so now it's kind of set the tone for young people, young guys to dress in a certain way, and so now guys want to get quarter zips and portray a certain life or lifestyle, right? It's the same thing. And if people can create a buzz out of our own thing, I can assure you that the way we have Afrobeats creating waves and matcha all of a sudden just everywhere. Matcha from is it Japan, right? It's now everywhere, and I'm sure even the Japanese might be shocked as to why so many people are so excited about matcha. But the thing is, you are either selling the benefits or the taste. What I've observed is that for our part of the world, we love more, or certain demographics love more of the taste. There are certain demographics too that respond very well to you dialing up on the benefits that something provides. So, for example, if we have our drink Sobolo, if we touch on the immense benefits that it has, as Sobolo hibiscus is a superfood, and it boosts your immune system. The hibiscus drink has ginger in it and cloves and all these things that help with digestion, and they help with your immune system. I can assure you that we can easily create a wave with Sobolo, where across the globe everybody would want to try this drink that is supposed to be a superfood, just like matcha, right? And so I really think that these tech platforms, like the Meta platforms and TikTok, really have the potential to drive up our culture and our food, and it's really the thing is the global fast food chains have the budgets to run ad campaigns that would be in our faces, but we also have the potential to also create content that goes viral organically and would appear in people's feeds and get them as curious enough to try it. And that's how matcha really ended up becoming such a sensation. So I don't look down on the impact even on an individual level. You Freeman over there can actually create some sort of wave within your network. I would post a wachi joint and people would troop there because hey, we want to go and try it out just because of what we saw. It looked so inviting. And and once we think about the platforms in this way, I want us to see that it's not just about driving up engagement, but it's about influencing culture. You know, and once we think of things from a strategic point of view, you look at these tools not just as ways to connect with each other, but as vehicles for influence, right? And for me, if I look at how this festival has just grown, and our advertisement has been mainly through digital channels, all these tech platforms. And even with that, the kind of budget we've used would surprise you because we've really optimized and managed with a very humble budget to grow it to this point where you have an addition of over 5,000 people. So imagine if we had certain kinds of budgets and we are thinking strategically, even just as Ghanaians, we can transform the narrative of Ghana, we can transform the narrative of our culture. We can ride this dirty December wave and milk it, and people can start businesses, people can easily spot trends depending on how strategic you are. When you're on your device and you're going through social media, you can either go through social media with an like a consumer mindset where you just want to consume interesting content, or you are actually going through it trying to figure out what could be the next wave. What can I even start? What are people doing now that I could use? What strategies could I use to create a movement? once we think about things from that strategic point of view, then these tools or these platforms now become vehicles for influence. And so, honestly, I think that if we don't think in that way, it's going to make it easy for all these global food chains to just influence us, and we'll see their foods as superior when ours are more nutritious. So we need to develop that sense of pride and know that, look, it's okay. Even waakye is eaten in the leaf, and people, sometimes people look down on that, right? They're eaten in the leaf. But if you go to the Middle Eastern countries, and they are having their maklube or whatever it is, they sit down, they pour the food down, and everybody is digging in, and that's their culture, and we will watch it and accept it, and they are proud of it. And once you're proud of something, it's hard for anybody to make you feel less of yourself. So I think that to prevent the cultural erosion, we need to step up and, first of all, be proud of what we have, and also use these platforms strategically, given the kind of power that they possess.
Great, deep stuff. I have 7 points from there, and honestly, trends. If we can make a trend, we can get people on board. And that's how you just don't have to drive engagement. We have to build the influence, and then what you just said right now is our food has so much nutrition. If you compare what we have here as Ghanaians and what is being brought with the influx of these foreign brands, you'd understand that you should appreciate what we have. Thank you so much, Derrick, for that. Bibiani, the same question to you, if you could give us your point of view on that same question.
All right, thank you. It's Bibiana, though, not Bibiani. Thank you very much. All right, so I think I agree with a lot of what Derrick said. Fortunately or unfortunately, the world has become a global village, and there are pros and cons. Even though we are able to also export and show some of our stuff, like he said, these companies have bigger budgets than us, so they're able to show more of their stuff. The ad that KFC can do, how many businesses in Ghana can do that, or how many local joints even have seen money like that before? But it does not mean that we cannot put ourselves out there. Like you said, I agree with 100%. Everybody is an ambassador. Everybody is and can be an ambassador. And I think what I have seen is that when I got into the space early on, and then there weren't a lot of people doing this, I realized that if you want to go on Google and you search for a Ghanaian meal, you'd see most of the articles written by foreign websites. And some of the information is just all over the place. I remember one time, there's another food blogger called Mukase Sheik. I saw the article as well. Somebody wrote an article that kelewele is diced cucumber or diced eggplant with spices. And she had to fight for them to actually take that article down, because that is misinformation. So looking at ourselves as ambassadors, we are the ones living here. We are the ones experiencing the foods. We know it. So it will be easier for us to talk about it and to sell it than somebody who will come and spend 3 days, 5 days here and write about their experience. So the first point is for us to be proud of what we have and become ambassadors. Like he said, you can influence your family, you can influence your friends, your circle, the people on your social media. You might think, oh, I'm not an influencer like Chef Lifestyle, so what do I have to do? No, that post you made will make someone crave waakye, and we're going to eat waakye that day. It might not tell you, but it has done something. And so the first thing is for us to be proud of it. And I think one thing I always say is we should stop trying to make our foods look appealing to a Western audience. I've never understood that. It's like, okay, if we are grinding in our sanka, we are eating with our hands or something, it's like we don't like it because how would people think about us? That is our culture. Like you said, in some places, we have accepted that, okay, this is how they are, this is how they eat. We know that Koreans, they eat with a lot of side dishes and we like it, we want to go and try it. But when it comes to us eating food with our hands, you want to hide it. You go to a restaurant, have sushi and take a picture and post on social media. But when you're eating food in your house, you don't want to take a picture of it and share on your social media because, oh, I'm eating with the hands. It doesn't look that appealing. That is the problem. Okay, we have to start owning up to the fact that this is us, this is our culture. We don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to change it. You don't have to change their names. There's nothing like corn swallow. It's bankun. We don't have to do anything. Like if they can if people can pronounce karage, sushi, all the other names, they can pronounce fufu, they can pronounce fufu, they can pronounce wache, they can pronounce banku. You don't have to change the names because those are the names. That is where it starts from. And the second thing too is that social media has obviously come to make a lot of things, give us a lot of good things. Like there's a post that I made in 2024 for the Kinky House in Jamestown, and that video got 3.3 million, and that video changed the business forever. And that is social media. Okay, if it wasn't for social media, I'll go and eat the food, I'll go home, nobody will know about it. And so there's so much power in social media if we decide to use it for good. And I mean, I think we have seen a lot of them. Now, a lot of our meals are popular. Jollof is very popular. Even fufu, I mean, the fufu it's more of the Nigerian fufu, but we can still do something with ours, right? When you see someone or foreigner online trying to try fufu, it's usually the Nigerian fufu, but we can do something about it. So I think personally, what I have taken it on myself as a mantra that next year I'm going to take Eto international, because Eto is my favorite Ghanaian food. So like every room I enter, Eto. So even when I do cooking classes for foreigners, Eto is the meal I teach them, because Eto is very culturally significant. It's very easy to make, and it's also very nutritious. You know, it has the plantain, the peppers, and everything in there, and you serve it with the avocado and then the eggs and everything. So we all have a role to play, whether you are an influencer, you are a business, you are all of that. And one thing too is we should learn. You should learn about our food. It's not enough to know about them. You should know what you're eating. You can say that, oh, I've been eating it for 10 years. Why should I learn about it? So that when you meet someone and then the person is trying to talk to you, or you're even trying to advocate for the food, you know what to say. There are so many times where I'll post a video where I'm eating with my hands, and usually those videos go viral and I'm being attacked left to right, corner, center. Is there no spoon? Where's your cutlery? That's not hygienic. But you eat burger with your hands, but fufu is where you draw the line. And so then, because I understand why I'm eating with my hands and I have learned about it and I have researched, even eating an asanka, what it means, connecting with the earth, because asanka is from clay, all of that I have learned about it. When somebody asks me, why are you eating an asanka? There's a plate. I can talk about the cultural significance of eating an asanka. Even the way we make our meals locally is so healthy. It's wood, it's clay. Those things are natural things with no toxins. You know, a lot of these modern cookware we use, like the non-stick, has all this Teflon or whatever, and it's not really healthy. So when you learn about all these things, it makes even being proud of what you're doing easier, because like, oh, somebody tells you, why are you cooking with a clay pot? You tell them a clay pot is this and this, it's non-toxic, it's this and this and that. So I feel like educating ourselves is very, very important. That's why I'm very, very keen on, doing my best to learn so that I can educate people, so that we can all know that the things our ancestors left us, it wasn't by mistake. They weren't, sorry to say, stupid for saying that, okay, asanka, let's grind pepper in asanka, let's grind something on a stone. They knew the benefits of those things. They knew and I always say that when you look at our meals, I always say our ancestors were so brilliant. And I don't know how you sit down and you create sobolo or you create a muju. Like, what happened for you to say that, okay, let's put this and this and this and this together and create this drink? When we look at our local drinks, they are medicines. You're getting refreshment and health, but not to put any brand down. You're drinking soda or you're drinking carbonated drinks and it's just sugar, and at the end of the day, you're going back to the hospital, you have all these things. So like Derrick said, we have to be proud of what we have. We have to put it out there. We have to start trends. Do something to put it out there, because we have quality stuff. We have quality stuff that people need to know about, because there's no way they'll do top 100, top 50, top 200 meals in the world, and Ghana is nowhere to be found. Sometimes you don't even see any African country in there. Like, who is the judge? Who is making these decisions? And I think the more we put it out there and it becomes popular, the more it becomes part of the global conversation. So I think personally, becoming ambassadors of our foods, learning about it, putting it out there, like Derrick said, it's not about engagement. Even if one person sees it, you've done something. Thank you.
Thank you, Bibiana. Very, very insightful. The passion is there and the insight is there. So as she speaks, you get so many nuggets. I have 6 from your just ended submission. I have 2 pages right now from Derrick and Bibiana. So it's safe to say you are also writing and learning from it. So We'll be coming to a close very soon. We have about 11 minutes to go. So we'll answer one final question, give a heavy hitter so all of us here can, as Bibiana said, if you want to make money, you have to have money. So we can all go and start making money before we open up for questions. So I just dropped the question. Derrick, if you could take us on that question, and briefly, Bibiana will also highlight that question. So the question is, if you had to bet on a signal technology, which one outside of basic social media and delivery apps would be the most disruptive force in Ghana's food industry over the next 5 years? So we're talking about agri-tech, talking about AI logistics, we're talking about personalized nutrition, and why. We want to talk about money over the next 5 years. Where is the money with tech? Over to you, Derrick.
That's a big one. One of the things that I wanted to say before I even just answer this question is I've observed something about us and then the West, right? And our cultures. So just piggybacking off what Bibiana was saying, right? You know, there's in also being proud of what you have, right? There's how it's also presented, right? And I think how you present it also kind of impacts how people would be invited to try it or not, you know. And I realized, which is not a bad thing. I've realized that we, in our culture, we sort of value tradition, whereas in the West, they value innovation, if I should put it that way. And both aren't wrong if you put it if you think about it. Valuing tradition and saying, hey, this is how things will have been done in the past and we are continuing it, versus someone saying, this is how it was done, but okay, I want to think of it a better way of doing it, or a more efficient way of doing things, right? And I'm just giving this preamble that would lead into what I think about the technology that would will cause the next bubble. I think for us, trying to also kind of, in a way, adopt the thinking of the West and combining it with our desire to maintain tradition, right? But be innovative in how we present whatever it is that we have to offer. I personally think that we haven't scratched the surface when it comes to production at scale, right? And I think that, yes, it's good to have, for example, Sobolo. I'm just using Sobolo as an example because I've had some experience in that space. It's good to have Sobolo being produced and sold in the way that it's sold in Ghana. You'd usually have people make it at home, and then they put whatever it is. If they're putting their cloves, they're putting whatnot, and they do it, and then they go and serve it either in these dispensers or these calabashes and things like that, or they will put it in bottles, freeze it, and then drink. But you'd realize that those things have doing it that way has a very short shelf life. So once you prepare your Sobolo that way, you have to consume it within a certain period or it goes bad because of the things that are in it and how it's produced. But producing at scale and incorporating innovation, now you have the potential to produce Sobolo and package it in a way that meets global standards, right? And in a way that has a long shelf life. The different drinks that we have, the different foods that we have, you are able to package them in a way that extends their shelf life but still maintains the quality and nutrition, right? And allows you to even export it to other parts of the world, because you'd have people Ghanaians in the diaspora, Ghanaians living in all parts of Europe, all parts of the US and Australia and whatnot, you're able to package these things and send it across the globe, and communities over there would now see them and adopt them, right? I think that if we can start to think of the different things that we have and see how we can scale up in terms of production, I think that that could be the next boom for us. I think, honestly, if you think of, for example, bullfruits, right? Why till now, why can't we have a bullfruit chain? If you get what I mean. Dunkin' Donuts is there, Krispy Kreme is there, right? They have been able to fine-tune their recipes to the point where they can produce at scale. And they're working with food scientists to come up with recipes that allow them to do that, and they have the equipment to be able to do that. Why can't we have chains out of these things, right? Because bullfruit is pretty much donuts, right? But it has been, you look at what's happening in the West, and it seems like it's been glamorized, right? Or it's been branded really well, but more so, they've really thought through how they can commercialize it at scale. So I really think that thinking about things at scale, thinking about even our foods, like and I'm dropping all these thoughts. Anybody can pick these business ideas and run with them.
5 years from now, if you see a boy food chain, just know that Derrick dropped it here, and we are pressed on time. So
I guess Bibiana can also.
Yeah, Bibiana, if you could use 3 minutes to give us the next 5 years, where we could be making money from with technology and our food and culture.
Bibiana, you're muted.
Yeah, so mine is, I don't know how to describe it, I'll just say it. I think before I go into the tech aspect of it, I think children. I'm saying children because I feel like everything we do, we leave them out, like they are an afterthought. And I'm saying children because when it comes to children and books, games, animations, tools, like all those things, like we kind of leave them out. And most of the times our children are like consuming lots of foreign stuff. They don't really get to learn about what we are doing here in Ghana because we don't have the avenues. We haven't created the materials for them to be able to assimilate that. Let me give you an example. I have a friend who started food blogging and was doing purely baby food. And that it blew up in just about a month because people were, no shade to Cerelac, but people were just feeding their kids Cerelac and lactogen and all of that. And then this person came and said, oh, you know that you can actually add plantain and then you add carrots and you blend it and you can give it to your child and it's healthier. And now this woman has a baby food restaurant, one in Kumasi and one in Accra. She has even stopped food blogging because she's too busy. Right? But she used social media to be able to create a baby food restaurant, the first of its kind in Ghana. That is the only one in Ghana. And she can't serve the whole of Ghana. So when I say children and babies and all of that, everything we are doing as adults, we can create some for the children. So if it's books, we can create children's book about food, which you didn't hear it here. Something like that might come up in 2026. If you see it, you see it. Right? We can our animations, they are watching Barbie, they are watching all these things. Why don't they have animations about our Ghanaian food culture or just the Ghanaian culture in its sense? If it's about Kwame Nkrumah, if it's about Komfa Noche, it's about a toy, it's about Jollof, it's about this. The way Miss Rachel became an overnight sensation because of how she's able to connect with the children. If you have things like that, children will watch it. You might think, oh, they will watch it. How these days we have black Barbies. In the past, it wasn't like that. Somebody always has to start. So for me, I would say, let's look at the children. There's a lot of money there because they might not be the ones holding the money, but they are the ones telling their parents what they want. So I think in the next couple of years, things around children is going to be big because people are going to realize, wait, why don't you have this for children? Oh, can't hear you.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. So I said we have a few seconds, so if the call ends, I sincere apologies. So